What's up, y'all? LTJ Reads is here. This is throwing light, and if you're not throwing light, you are not mother freaking acting right. I do this now at the beginning of every episode. Start subscribing to my YouTube channel. Throwing light interviews are all there. This is episode 170. 170, y'all. So remember that's there. The Throwing Light tour is there. The 5 cities I did, 4 cities out of the five I did in Texas. San Francisco, New York, New Orleans is going to be up. I just threw up the Austin Keek Weekend special we did called No Title Needed. This is about being active in our community and not needing a title. Okay. Y'all know I've done a lot. I had a title, but I've done more without that title. You've seen for yourself. And there's so many people that have never had a title that have represented our community in vast many ways. So please, I encourage you go over and look at the Throwing Light panel. No title needed from Austin Geek Weekend 2026, which was in April. With that being said, let's go ahead and kick it over to our guest, Andres Leatherman. Andres is in San Antonio, correct?
Correct.
San Antonio, as you know, is only about an hour and 15 minutes from Austin. San Antonio is really close enough that we have members of Austin and San Antonio organizations.
Yeah.
I can't say vice versa because we aren't doing enough over here with our groups in Austin. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. But San Antonio Leatherman, y'all got what? About 200 people?
About 200 plus.
200 Leathermen in the state of Texas in a group in San Antonio. I do like San Antonio. It is wow. I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I had an infatuation with San Antonio because of the movie Selena. And when they like, I don't know, there's a scene with them at the Riverwalk. So I always wanted to go to the Riverwalk, and I got to go when I was like in the eighth grade. And then I moved here and I always want to go to the Riverwalk. But obviously San Antonio has a lot more going on than the Riverwalk. Andres, how did you first get involved in the leather community?
How did I get involved? Before that, before the San Antonio Leatherman, I went to the Annex, uh, a longtime bar here in San Antonio, and then it it burned. It got vacated by something that happened, and then about 3.5 years ago, I found the San Antonio Leatherman on their Facebook, on our Facebook, and went to their first meeting, and that's how I got involved.
Okay, so how did you, let's backtrack. Did you have any leather experience prior to being a San Antonio Leatherman?
A little bit, not
What
much.
made you interested? So, how did you come across the ad for the San Antonio Leatherman?
The Annex, it's a bar here in San Antonio. It was
Yeah.
before uh, I would go check it out. Didn't really uh, find anybody there. And then years later, that's when I found the San Antonio Leatherman.
Okay, so what particularly about being a leather person attracted you for what you knew?
The master slave dynamic on that, the the kinky area, San Antonio.
So you've been more interested in the kink aspect than the leather aspect.
No, I was interested in the letter access
Okay.
because I would meet a few guys from San Antonio on recon, and that's how I got into the the leather community.
Okay, so as a leather person, what represent like how what is your connection to leather? Like, you like wearing it? Do you like how do you what's the word? Perform your leather self in public? Does that make sense? Like, what do you like about the leather community to be involved in?
Wearing it
Wearing it and participating in it.
and and being in that the dynamic of master slave or sub or sir and sub. Uh, for for older men, I'm usually I'm usually a slave, but for younger, I'm usually a master.
Okay, and what do you like about the master slave dynamic? What brought you to that component of expression in the community?
Just on the older area, on the older men, I like being controlled, and then on the younger, I like to control them.
Um, what do you get out of that? What is your enjoyment?
Pleasure, uh, like for older, I my pleasurement is following the orders, tilts, um, maybe a butt plug, maybe getting fucked. I don't know. And
So, okay, so you are very, because there are a variety of us Leathermen out there, and so you are a very sexualized leather person. So you are very involved in the kink component. Okay, so I've seen you compete for a couple of competitions, or maybe just one. And so this is what I'm proposing to you, and what I would like to know, like, what are your platforms as a leather person? Like, what is important to you in the community that you do or that you put your time towards?
in this, uh, I concentrate about voting. I if if we don't vote, then we don't win in elections. Candidates. Uh, I'm a Democrat. I've been doing it for over a decade, helping candidates through federal, state, and local. And
So
that's
you've been helping register people to vote?
not registering, talking to people, block
Oh,
walking,
about
home
voting.
banking, texting.
So you say you're a Democrat. Uh, yeah, I actually don't think I've even had this question that I've asked before, but is there a particular reason why you want to be a Democrat?
Why? Because we are for working class people like us. We need to up our minimum wage. We need uh, have jobs out there. Um, there's healthcare is important for all of us.
So, have you been able, as a leather person, to take some of these elements of your life and advocate for that? So, have you advocated for voting as a leather person?
Yes,
Okay, cool. Tell us something about that.
I'm always like always telling our group that we are uh, early voting starts this date to this date, and election date is on this date. Make sure you get out and vote.
So the San Antonio Leathermen were around in 2024 during the last presidential election. How was that for you, navigating that as a new leatherman and the 2024 election?
It was good. It was good. Uh I'm actually it was good. I just had more engagement. Uh, The older generation, like my generation and your generation and the older generation, tend to go vote. It's the younger generation that tend to uh, don't vote.
Yeah,
Uh,
why do you think that is? Why do you think younger people don't vote?
they say that their vote doesn't matter. And I have always said it does matter because I've seen a race uh, win by like 10 votes, and that's it. And that's it.
Um, Yeah, well, because when I was younger, I mean, I didn't vote in the first election that I could vote in. It was in 2020, not 2020, 2004 was the first election. The first election I voted in was the 2008 election. Of course, I voted for Barack Obama. That was my first election. And
2008,
you want to know what? And I was like those younger people, to be honest with you. When I was in college in 2004, George Bush was president. We were in the Iraq War. And at that time, I grew up in Louisiana. Um, at that time, I would have thought that it didn't matter. And I think in a little weird, probably more conservative. I was more conservative when I was younger because I grew up in a racist white neighborhood and environment, and my peers were mostly white, and so a lot of those ideas, were brainwashed into my head of what I thought. And at that time in 2004, when we were in the Iraq War and we believed we were rightly there to be there at the time, um, I foolishly was like, well, I don't want to change the president during a war, something foolish like that. That's how basic and stupid I was. And just again, you know, um, I didn't I've never registered with a political party. I've never been interested in being a part of a political party. I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I am an independent. But I did vote. I voted in I voted in three of the five elections that I could have voted in. And people were like, well, then there's another one you skipped too. I did not vote in the 2012 election. And I know it's crazy because it was Barack Obama's second term or whatever. But I was truly disappointed in the first term at that time of the progress we could have had and what we ended up with, and just the way that like healthcare was kind of gutted to what it, was basically a Republican policy, or Republican plan. I was just disappointed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and at that time and back then, Republicanism was much different than what it is today. But Mitt Romney was not an imminent threat to me, and the way that I watched him as a politician, he was a moderate guy. Um, Gay marriage happened in Massachusetts while he was governor. It's not like he tried to go after those things. So I just never was like, I was never But still, but don't get me wrong, the Republican Party is problematic. Anyone in the Republican Party is in a problematic situation. But in terms of my thought processes and where I was and where the country was right then and there, I thought they were near the same, at the time.
Uh,
But hey, the second term went a lot better, and I was much more pleased with Obama's second term. But so what are some things that you've done in the San Antonio Leathermen that you really enjoyed?
Volunteering,
What are some things that you guys do for volunteering?
beer bust. We do events here in San Antonio, like the at the Heat or at the Eagle. They need people to sign up. Uh, let, let's go a little bit back uh, to something that's important. Uh, right now, uh, Democrats are under attack. They are taking our gay rights away. We're trying to take that away. They're uh, they passed bad bills with the transgender people in Texas. The the marijuana was another one that they tried to limit what the stores can sell. Uh, the, the, that's why it's important. These, I will say it out loud. These MAGA Republicans are coming for us. They're trying to force the Bible on us.
I think that a lot of people see the what you see, and I would say that as many people that have been on this platform that are just about equality, like I am, it's pretty for us that are where it's pretty evident, obviously, the opposing party wants to see anything that opposes it diminishing. Well, I'm sorry, the current party wants to see anything that opposes it diminish. And so, yeah, of course, that the Democratic Party's under attack. I mean, that's common sense. Um, but all Americans of all kinds, even MAGA themselves, are being attacked right now, and they're just too stupid to know it. So, and I'm not going to apologize for saying, yeah, you should know when there's something about Americans not wanting to vote in their best interest. And instead, they vote in the people that have other interests. So I don't know. You've seen like these new Freedom Fuel gas stations that are popping up now. It's just like, oh my God, corruption, like unbelievably amount of corruption. I think that's what we really need to really focus on because everyone is affected by this is corruption. And I think that this administration is probably has to be the most corrupt administration in American history because of the amount of corruption and the vast, and so it is highly corrupt. And the wanting to put the names on everything and the possession and the gaining wealth it's all in front of our eyes. Um, so I don't think by any means any logical American that has two eyes, ears, can read a book, can have a individual thought, can see that this is all a cash grab. It's a cash grab, and at the cost of lives. So and what this brings it back to is that us as leather people, us as queer people, us as anything that's different than a billionaire, okay? Anybody different than a billionaire, we are all under attack. We are all under attack because think about it. Think about this, Andres. You have people that are willing to protect a natural resource over a school of girls. You know what I'm saying? The school of girls can be blown up. That's okay, but we can't use lose the fuel source. That's what's most important on in see, it's like for some reason, humans made monetary exchange that made money and somehow make money more powerful than the human experience. And it's a bizarre thing because people, all the bad things we hear about, this all comes down to money. We have zero, we do not have the same amount of value to a billionaire like to us as average day people. Like we have to have either a use or we're useless because our life is not worth anything.
Yeah.
So when you get involved in these things, Andres, especially with your interests in politics and things like that, is that kind of the passion that you feel behind what motivates you? It's just the injustice.
I've been I've been doing it for over a decade. It's civil rights issues, social justice issues also that are important to me.
What do you, okay, well that this is it's obviously I just wrote this poem. I didn't just write it, but I've been working on a book. And one of the poems that I wrote is called Second Class Citizen. And it just that's how I feel. I don't feel first class. How could I where am I being treated first class? So there's that because I have to I have my everyday is going through and facing the obstacles that a first class citizen does not have to face. But what I find to be the more compelling thing is, my first trans friend, Kara, once told me that, well, if you're a second class citizen, trans people are third class citizens. And I agree with that. I don't know about you in terms of treatment in society and things like that. You say that you're into civil rights and social justice. Um, how do trans issues impact you? How do you feel?
Trans issue is gay rights issues, is human rights issues. It's common sense. And remember, Democrats are fighting for us. In Texas, remember on public education, they all went to Chicago, uh, California, and some other blue state to make a point to get the media involved because Texas is not a red or blue state; it's a non-voting state.
I think that we need to learn to, as just American citizens, to fight for ourselves. Because even if they are fighting, we need more of a fight. We need to figure out where that fight was in 2024, because that's when we really needed that fight. So, what I need right now is I need everybody that thinks that everything, if anyone with like a heart, a brain, a body, eyes, mouth that can see that people are being hurt. That is what I want to fight against. People being hurt. There are people that have died that did not have to die in the past 2 years because of the incompetency of the way things are handled down and by this administration that is going on. They don't like, I know that these people don't care about me, so I should not care about them. Okay. So, but I need this to be an everybody fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if you're a Republican that doesn't like being a Republican anymore because of what's going on, come on over here to the fight. That's what I'm talking about. We need an army. We need independents. We need Democrats. We need Republican. We need people that have a moral sense of wanting to stop what is happening that is inhumane. And you can be, remember, and I want everyone to understand this in our community, in every community, good and bad people exist. You know this. We deal with our own problems internally. So I'm very careful in terms of broadly stroking a group as the savior or the martyr or any of that sort. Because just like I know in the leather community, I am not everybody's jam. And I'm very careful to say that what I am saying represents the entire community because it does not. This show throwing light does not holds no authority. I hold no authority. And if I have an influence, I'm grateful for it. But it is not to do anything but to share that influence and that grace with other people and to make them human. And that is what's important to me. I need us to build bridges right now for whoever wants to stand up against what's wrong right now. And so I hope that it's not just Democrats fighting for us when it comes down to the end of the day. I hope it's everybody that has a fucking heart fighting for us. Because remember, there are a lot of us. I'm just not interested in politics in that degree. I'm interested in knowing politics to vote, to help other people, but to get in the trenches and fight for a team wholeheartedly, I cannot do that because not everything aligns. Just like me being a leather person, I'm a very new school person, a new guard. Everyone can see that. Everyone sees. I respects the old guard and whatever that means in terms to whoever wants it to mean, whatever it means to make them feel like they have a place in this community. But at the end of the day, I'm a forward thinker. And I believe, yes, we do respect how things are built. Okay. We don't want to disrespect how things are built, but how we operate them, that's a conversation to have into the future on beyond us because we have to grow and change. So I am grateful for the amount of subjects that we have been able to discuss. And I look forward to your continued growth in the leather community. Hopefully, I'll see you competing again. I am glad that you've brought subjects and issues. We actually haven't had much of a political discussion on here anyway. But it's important to at least have dialogues. But I do want to say that, unfortunately, we have people that have made our existence political. So it's impossible not to have. You can't wake up in the United States right now and not have a conversation that doesn't lead to something political. Yeah, or I have to engage politics, but at the same time, I don't have to. I want to bat for my people, which are the leather people, the LGBTQ. That's all I'm concerned with rallying. And we're scattered across. And I would like to ring that in. That's what my focus is right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because we
that
got a
makes
lot of
sense.
our community is lost over there on the Republican side too. And I don't know what it's going to take to get those people less transphobic, less racist. I don't know what it's going to take, but that's where I'm going to focus my time and energy. Us fighting for us, not against each other. That's where my heart is. Andres, is there any aspect of our community that you feel that we are not shedding enough light on?
What was the question again?
Do you think there's any aspect of our community that we are not shedding enough light on?
On our Latino community.
Was that?
On our Latino community.
Okay, let's talk about the Latino community because we have such a beautiful, amazing, vibrant Latino Latin men up in Texas, Leatherman. I can name 20. I can name 20 right now.
I can name
Beautiful Latin men in our community and Latin women. Latin non-binary, Latin trans people. I was not expecting that when I moved to Texas from Louisiana because it's just black and white people over in Louisiana. I came to Texas, I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, we do need to shed light. Do you go down to RGV any?
yes, I've been
Fuck. Hey,
I
Mark,
ran.
RGB is my favorite area in the state. That's my favorite place to go visit is RGB. They're just so amazing and so warm. I'm not trying to throw shade at the rest of Texas, but you know some of us are more welcoming than others. So I love
They
RGB.
have good food down there.
They too, and you know, like
Better tacos.
we have strong Latin presence. I mean, San Antonio obviously strong. You know, Houston. Dallas, Austin. I mean, there is a very strong presence of Latinos, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It's so nice seeing that diversity as well. So, okay, all right, Andres. Well, that is the end of our episode. There's one thing left to do. I told you what we had to do. Okay, you ready? All right, you're gonna go. And when I count to three, you're gonna do it. Okay. One, two, three.
If you're not doing with the lightning, what do you act
You said you're
at?
not throwing with lightning. If you're not throwing with lightning, that is amazing. Now I feel like I need to be like Zeus or Thor or something. Okay, one more time. You ready? I'm gonna count you three. You're gonna say if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. You ready? One, two, three.
If you're not throwing with lightning, you're not acting right.
We'll take it. Yes. Thank you so much for doing this episode, Andres. I saw, I've seen you and we've been around each other, but I wanted to bring you on here just because I felt that, you know, sometimes people just need a little shine and I wanted to give that shine to you. So
Thank you.
thank you for taking that time to do this. And everybody, that is another episode of Throwing Light. And we're
Thank you.
out.